Welcome to the Curator's Corner, a Museum Monday on the fourth week of the virtual pilgrimage. I am Sarah Bone, a park ranger at Manzanar National Historic Site. I am also a collateral duty museum assistant. In the National Park Service, one of the ways we preserve America's stories is to preserve the items that represent them. We are grateful that many people have chosen to donate their family items to the NPS to preserve the past and educate present and future generations. This week's theme is a question of loyalty. We'll be exploring items donated by Riichi Fuwa in 2017. Riichi and his family endured a lot during their lifetimes. They saw happiness and pain. They saw loyalty and betrayal. But while the U.S. government betrayed its citizens, the Fuwa family did not betray the U.S. government. Riichi Fuwa was born on December 10, 1918 in Bellevue, Washington. His parents, Riichi and Kan, had immigrated from Fukuiken. The Fuwa family had a small tract of land where they grew strawberries and other items for the Seattle market. They used a horse and their own labor to work the land. Their neighbors were fellow immigrants who together purchased the land with the help of a lawyer. When Riichi was nearly 10 years old, his parents sent him to Japan to live with his uncle. He would attend school there for 5 years. Riichi remembers enjoying school, but not the military exercises that became more frequent as he got older. In 1933, his father had an operation and was no longer able to work at their Bellevue farm. Riichi needed to return to Washington to help his mother. Riichi died 3 years later. Riichi's parents had registered his birth with the Japanese government when he was born. In 1936, Riichi renounced his Japanese citizenship and gave his family's land in Japan to his cousins. In 1940, Riichi and his mother visited Japan to bury his father's ashes. While he was there, Riichi remembers being watched by the Japanese military. He felt that he was not trusted in Japan. On October 16, 1940, Riichi Fuwa registered for his U.S. draft. He says he was called up soon after. After appearing and passing his physical, the board deferred him because he was a farmer, a critical occupation during wartime. When he found out about the Pearl Harbor attack, Riichi felt that the Japanese government had been foolish. In the spring of 1942, Kan and Riichi were sent to the Pinedale Assembly Center. That summer, they arrived at Tule Lake. Riichi worked in construction and dishwashing, but eventually found a job farming the camp's fields. He learned how to use the big agricultural equipment. Riichi was a young man at Tule Lake. It was a difficult time for everyone, but he found pleasant distractions. He climbed Castle Rock while it was permitted. He says he went to every dance there was. He built furniture, and his mother made shell jewelry. Riichi remembers a day in October 1942 when the Military Intelligence Service approached him at Tule Lake. His time in Japan was seen as beneficial to the U.S. military. He had a head start on the language knowledge they would need for the war effort. Riichi told them he was already deferred, but would be happy to show up if drafted. The MIS wanted him to volunteer. He made an example of his so-called freedom when he pointed up to the guard towers and barbed wire fences. He would fight if drafted, but he would not volunteer from a prison. In February 1943, the government delivered the infamous loyalty questionnaire to all those incarcerated at Tule Lake, 17 years old and older. Riichi and his mother filled out their forms without discussion. Kan was not fluent in English. She kept copies of the blank forms in both English and Japanese that she was required to fill out in the Block 68 manager's office. Riichi Fuwa answered question 27, which read, "Are you willing to serve in the armed forces of the United States on combat duty wherever ordered?" Riichi had once again to tell the U.S. military that he would fight if drafted. He answered yes. As for question 28, it stated, "Will you swear unqualified allegiance to the United States of America and faithfully defend the United States from any or all attack by foreign or domestic forces and forswear any form of allegiance or obedience to the Japanese emperor or any other foreign government, power, or organization. He said his answer would be wrong either way. He left it blank. The majority of those living in Tule Lake who answered yes to those questions were sent to other camps. Those who answered no in other camps were sent to Tule Lake. In the fall of 1943, Riichi had his friends and neighbors fill out a memories book as they departed. With segregation, they were leaving and he was staying. No one knew what their futures held. Some of the messages are reminiscing about dances. This message reads, "I'll remember you as a man who helped to make the dances at the 68 Mess Hall a good one. I hope to see you in the future. Just one of the cooks at good old 68 Mess, Tad Matsumoto." Some are positive wishes for the unknown paths each would take. This message reads, "Somehow I feel this isn't a parting. It just proves we have made a choice to suit our different ideas. In the many years of our friendship, we have never faced the possibility of never seeing each other yet. How can such a precedent be broken? So till we meet again, so long, Tio Kiyakawa." Finally came the ultimate betrayal by the United States government to Riichi Fuwa. They had put him behind barbed wire. They had forced him to prove his loyalty. Now Riichi Fuwa would lose his U.S. citizenship. While he did not talk about renouncing, he did talk about finding out when his name was on a list of renunciants handed out by lawyer Wayne Collins in 1945. Riichi would not be allowed to leave Tule Lake until just before it closed in March 1946. He left for Sacramento, where his mother had found a job doing housework. He became a farm laborer. Riichi Fuwa is a loyal man. He is loyal to his family, having quit school to keep the family farm running. He is loyal to his country. He showed up when his number was called in 1940, and he showed up again when his number was called for the Korean War. Riichi Fuwa proudly said he never missed an opportunity to vote. The U.S. government betrayed his U.S. citizenship. The U.S. government questioned his loyalty. Riichi Fuwa never questioned his loyalty. Thank you for joining us for this week's Curator Corner. You can learn more about Manzanar National Historic Site through our website, our Facebook and Instagram accounts, and our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please contact me, Sarah Bone, via email.